All right, Gemini, this is your mid-December 2020 love horoscope and forecast. I'm Ryan with Arrows of Love. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to reviews of the stars in the sky for the rest of the year, pull some tarot, look at the Angels Oracle, see what's happening on the love front for you, Gemini. But let's talk about the stars first, because this will help us give us some context to the cards. So Gemini, your focus and your vitality, which is the sun, is in your 8th house. And it's sitting in Capricorn. Capricorn is 8 signs past Gemini. It's going to be in Capricorn until January 19th. The 8th house is about intimacy, is about things unseen. It's also about death and transformation. So you could be doing a lot of reflecting on personal identity and who you are. So the eclipses, which are occurring in your sign and your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships, legal contracts, marriage, you're going to be reviewing relationships and your relationship with yourself all of 2021. And these are big endings and big beginnings for you. So the sun being in the 8th, this is a time to go deep into your emotions. You could be feeling things quite intensely. Very well might be focused on intimate matters, but this is also a house of endings. So you need to get to know your darker side, the things unseen. The 8th house is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is the god of the underworld. So Gemini, you are a dual sign. There's duality within your sign, right? You're the twin. So you need to know to get to know your dark side in order to progress to the next point in your life. So this is all a part of your own personal development here. And really what it comes down to is getting into your power. The 8th house is a transformation of yourself. Something has to die so you can rise like the phoenix. So it's really a coming of your own power. But you can be focused on intimate matters over the next couple of weeks, and maybe you got a hotbed buddy. But this is also a house of endings too. So maybe things haven't been so great on that front, because Saturn and Jupiter, two heavy-hitting planets of our solar system, have been camped out in Capricorn in your 8th house for the last few years. Saturn, the taskmaster, which provides limitation, delay, restriction, hard lessons, it's karma, has been camped out there since December of 2017. So think about the last 3 years. And what's been happening on those 8th house. Have you learned your lessons? Have you transformed yourself and took responsibility for your intimate relationships, how you treat yourself, your dark side? That's the lessons of Capricorn. And Jupiter, which is sitting right there as well, they've been conjoined. They met up for the Great Conjunction on December 21st, which was yesterday. Today's the 22nd while I'm doing this video. So it's been a big push and pull with this. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Saturn rules Capricorn, which has been sitting in for the last 3 years. So it is the dispositor of this house. Jupiter doesn't do well in here. It's in its fall position. The two are polar opposites. Saturn is cold, brings restriction and delay. Jupiter is optimism, it's expansion, it's good luck, but it expands whatever energy it's near. So it just expands this delayed energy, this Saturnian energy over the last 3 years. So if it's felt like you've had to really do some transformation on the personal front or with your intimate life, getting to know your dark side, Gemini, this is the reason why, because these two heavy-hitting planets have been camped out in your 8th house. As of yesterday, which is also the winter solstice, Saturn and Jupiter have now moved into Aquarius at 0 degrees, which is the next sign past Capricorn, and they've moved into your 9th house. The 9th house is about higher education. It's about ideals. It's about spirituality and long-distance travel. So these are going to be themes that you're going to see throughout all of 2021. Jupiter is going to bring gifts to this front, but not so soon because it's still connected with Saturn, and Saturn is also the co-ruler of Aquarius. Saturn does better in Aquarius, but right now Jupiter is just not going to bring the gifts that it usually does because Saturn's still there. They're connected. So if you've done the work, if you've transformed yourself, if you thought about your intimate life, things unseen, worked on self-identity, you now rise as the phoenix into the 9th house, and you start reassessing your personal beliefs, your spirituality. You want to go the distance and travel. You want to take in as much information as possible. You are the learner and the chatty Cathy of the zodiac. So this is your polar opposite sign. You know, Sagittarius is the ninth house, but for you, your ninth house happens to fall in Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about humanitarian efforts. It's about the collective and raising collective consciousness through technology and innovation and radical thinking. The co-ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus is a rebellious planet. It brings shock and awe. It brings change, and it's very fast. So this will be a very interesting time for you as you start to reassess your personal beliefs. Saturn is going to be in Aquarius in your ninth house until 2023, so for about 3 years. Jupiter's going to cruise through it. It's at top speed right now. It's going to move through Aquarius and dip into Pisces into your 10th house of career. We can talk about that too in May. So you might get a glimpse of where your career is headed in May. And then it's going to retrograde back into the ninth to make sure that you've took the opportunities and the lessons to reassess your personal beliefs, higher education, long distance travel, anything with that theme is going to ring very significantly for you in 2021. Venus, the god of love and relationships, is sitting in your 7th house. So it's on the opposite side of the wheel from you, sitting in Sagittarius. Right now, you're probably focused a lot on marriage, partnerships, and legal contracts, looking at your relationships very closely. Venus is going to be in Sagittarius until January 8th, so we got a couple more weeks there. Here's the thing. Venus usually brings gifts. It's the lesser benefic. It rules money, rules relationships, all the good feels. Jupiter is the greater benefic. That's where you see lump sums and awesome things happen. But there's a slight caveat here. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius. That's where Venus is sitting right now. The dispositor of Sagittarius, Jupiter, is sitting right next to Saturn, which it's in its home sign. So right now, any planets sitting in Sagittarius and Pisces, which is the other sign that Jupiter rules, they don't get the benefit of being in happy, jovial Sagittarius. So things might have been a little bit damp on the one-on-one relationship front. Yesterday, Venus was making an awkward angle over to Uranus in your 12th house. Uranus is sitting in Taurus. That's 12 signs past. Taurus is 12 signs past Gemini. Excuse me. The 12th house is a spiritual house. It's about the subconscious. It's about rest. But Uranus sitting there, it can bring surprising things. It's also the house of karma, and this is kind of where the universe makes course corrections. So if things have been kind of awkward yesterday, today, even with intimacy, because Venus is making an antitia over to Pluto, which is in your 8th house of intimacy, sex, taxes, things unseen. The reason for that is Venus is making these kind of bizarre angles, and antitias can be malefic in nature sometimes. So just keep an eye, if you're single and you got a hotbed buddy, just, be aware of what's going on. Use your intuition here. Maybe things are not exactly what they seem. And then, Uranus being in the 12th, there can be some shock and awe with some karma here. So make sure that you're on the up and up yourself, Gemini, especially with, this transit happening right now. Venus does keep moving. She's moving pretty fast. So these awkward angles dissipate today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is December 23rd. This is going to be a day of power struggles. So if whatever's happening today, it could very well spill into tomorrow. And those things with Venus. So Mars, which is the planet of ambition, it gives us drive, it can also be very aggressive, is sitting in its home sign of Aries right now. It's very powerful in Aries. Aries is 11 signs past Gemini. The 11th house has to do with friends, group associations, humanitarian efforts, hopes, wishes, and dreams. Mars is going to make a hard aspect. It's called a square over to Pluto in your 8th house of endings, things unseen, sex, taxes, and death, intimacy, anything to that effect, and self-identity. So you might be reassessing, if you're single, maybe there's a friends with benefits situation that kind of gets out of control, but the square produces aggressive energy. This is where arguments occur. It's not a pleasant, this isn't a pleasant aspect. And this is the third one, the third aspect, the third time that Mars is hitting Pluto over the last couple of months. So whatever's been happening in September, October, November, this is kind of like the ending of it. So if there's themes that are ringing true with your group associations, any type of endings, things unseen, intimacy matters, this is where there's a culmination and there can be some aggressive energy here. To give you some context to what is happening with Mars, though, Mars right now has more power than any other planet in the sky right now because it's in its home sign. Saturn's up there too. It's got a lot of dignity sitting in Aquarius because it co-rules that. But right now Mars is the cosmic top, so to speak. So basically, Mars only goes around the sun once every 2 years. It's a little bit of slower moving planet. So when Mars just finished a retrograde motion. So, you could really be thinking a lot about what's happening with your social networks, with your friends, your hopes, wishes, and dreams over the last 6 months because Mars has been camped out there for 6 months. It retrograded in Aries in September, October, November. So think about that time frame, what was happening. You were probably reviewing something at that time. Mars is now moving forward again, but it's kind of moving slow. It's gaining speed. It's going to move out of Aries on January 6th. So we have a few more weeks to go to review this particular area, but when it's in retrograde motion, aggressive energy happens. So to give you some context, Mars does not retrograde in Aries very often because it only comes around the sun every 2 years. So in 1941, Mars was retrograding in Aries. This was November of 1941. About a month later, December 7th, this is when Pearl Harbor happened. Pluto is covert action. It's things unseen. Mars is aggressive energy. It's the god of war. Pluto is the god of the underworld. This was an unseen attack. The United States didn't see the attack coming, right, of Pearl Harbor. The next time Mars retrograded in Aries was November of 1972. During this period, the Greek president at the time was ousted from his seat. There was no bloodshed during this, but it was a transition of power. The last time Mars retrograded in Aries was in August of 1988. During this period, there was the Iran-Iraq war, and 50,000 Kurds were killed by chemical agents. The interesting thing about this is that Mars was making a hard aspect over to nebulous Neptune, and Neptune's known to be a cloudy, hazy planet, and it provides confusion. So you can see the correlation between Neptune and chemical agents. Just a few days ago, we heard about a cyber attack on the United States. Covert action, things not seen. The other interesting thing is that the Department of Justice announced yesterday that they're going to be taking action on a Pan Am explosion that happened in 1988. That crash happened right around the time of the Mars retrograde. So accidents happen, battles occur, covert action can take place during this time. So in the personal life, for you, Gemini, this means you need to watch what's happening with your group associations and your 8th house. So, things unseen. Make sure that you're keeping the right type of friends, the right social group. If you're hooking up with people, if you're single, make sure that you know these people because maybe someone's not being totally truthful with you, and this can erupt into some aggressive energy here. If you're partnered up, you might be reviewing the intimacy matters too. There's very possibly could be some endings here. So this is the exact square between Mars and Pluto happens tomorrow. So we might be feeling this coming, especially with these antishas over to Pluto with Venus. It's just things not seen. We don't see this coming. So be aware of that. As if that wasn't enough, Gemini. On December 30th, there's going to be a full moon in Cancer. Cancer is 2 signs past Gemini. The second house has to deal with money. So We started 2020 with a full moon in Cancer. We are ending 2020 with a full moon in Cancer. This is a bookend. Think about what was happening back in January of 2020. This is the culmination of it. This is kind of like the new start. Full moons also bring endings and illuminations on the money front. So don't be surprised if you hear some news. So the other thing about this full moon is the moon rules Cancer, and it's in its home sign. So this could be this could pull on some emotional strings too. This could get you a little bit riled up, potentially. Gemini, just be aware of that. And Cancer rules the 4th house, so this could deal with family, the mother, foundations. You might be reviewing that in context of money. So that's the context by which this could possibly come up. All right, so a lot happening on your 8th house, intimacy, things unseen, taxes, transformation, endings, rebirths. Venus is sitting in your partnership sector. So let's see what's happening with the cards. I was shuffling a little bit before I turned on the video, but let's we're going to pull some Angel's Oracle for you, Gemini, and then we're going to clarify with the Tarot. Keep in mind, this is a general reading. These messages will not resonate with all of you. Be sure to check out your rising sign, your moon, and your Venus. Sometimes those signs will resonate with you more depending on what's happening in your natal chart. And if you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description box below. You can send me an email. My prices are reasonable. We can explore the topics here further, Gemini. Yeah, you really got to be careful about what's happening on the 23rd, because that's a trigger day. All right, Gemini, let's see what's going on. Religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. This is interesting because Saturn and Jupiter are moving into your 9th house of spirituality, higher beliefs. So you've maybe done a complete makeover on this front here, and now it's influencing your path here. Interesting stuff. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Trying to manifest that soulmate energy. Maybe they have a different upbringing. I mean, religious factors are here. Maybe there's something going on where, the 9th house is foreign people, foreign land too. That's long distance travel. So maybe this person comes from a different country, different upbringing. Let's take a look. Give this one more shuffle. For Gemini. All right, the Devil, that's Saturn. Saturn just moved into your 9th. This is interesting. 4 of Swords. Three of Wands. Ace of Pentacles, that's nice. That's an offer. Temperance. And the Lovers. The Lovers have been coming out a lot lately. People are making choices. This is also you, Gemini. All right, so religious factors. Your love life is influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. What's interesting here is that you got the Devil. The Devil has to do with control issues, and the Lovers are actually present on this card. The Tarot's fascinating sometimes because you got the Lovers here too. So let's talk about what this card means. So this is the card of Saturn. This is the card of Capricorn. Saturn was just in Capricorn for the last 3 years. It was reviewing your intimate life, things unseen, sex, taxes, and death. This is also the point that you reassess your personal identity and you rise as the Phoenix. The lesson of Saturn is to face your fears and break the chains that bind you. If you look closely enough, the chains around the lover's neck are loose. They can break the chains that bind them at any point in time. If your religious upbringing is hindering you from finding love, or if your partner or your interest has different beliefs, you need to realize that there's probably more similarities than differences here, and you need to break the chains that bind you. Something might be holding you back. This is ultimately, the devil's about control. This is a control issue. This could be an addiction issue. But ultimately, it's about control. And your very next card here is interesting because it's calling for you to just take a rest. If something is ended, because you got a lot happening in your 8th house is endings, and that's just the reality of the situation. Things bubble up from the past that you have to deal with sometimes, but this is calling for you to rest. And this is after a hard-fought battle or something that pulled the heartstrings. Something about the spiritual path and religion is calling you to just rest right now. Uranus is sitting in your 12th house. You might be a little bit anxious. Uranus produces a lot of change on this front. Maybe you really are questioning some personal beliefs, questioning the upbringing. Because after rest, you're going to start looking for some options. Don't get hung up on gender here. The man is gazing out with his wands. What's to come next? You're thinking about your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Mars is sitting in your 11th house. That's where it's at. What's next for you? You need to keep an open mind because you got some options, right? This is the next card. Keep an open mind. Your soulmate might differ from your usual type and expectations. Don't shut people out just because they don't fit a very narrow category by which you would date them or keep them as a partner. If you're partnered up, maybe you're dealing with some conflicts just on the personal belief route. You got to keep an open mind because there is something new coming in here. This is the Ace of Pentacles. This is the start of a new cycle. This is the universe reaching out to you saying there's something here that can steady this energy. Pentacles is stable energy. The new offer, keeping an open mind, opens up new doorways. Expanding the mind. Gemini, you are an intellectual sign, so you can appreciate others' differences, but you can also be quite fickle too. So you got to keep an open mind here because something requires you to rebalance the cups. Through dealing with control issues, taking the necessary rest, recognizing that perhaps there are personal beliefs that don't exactly align with yours, allows you to rebalance the cup. Temperance is always about rebalance and healing. So something needs to be healed here. And it's likely with you. Here you are, right? Here are the lovers. This represents Gemini. This also represents a decision, but here they are again. Are you letting something control you? Are you letting your personal beliefs block you from the highest form of love? There's a decision to be made here. If you rebalance the cups and you keep an open mind, the new offer comes in, the new start, the new cycle. But you have to be open to it. You can't shut people out. You need to give people a chance. You can be flighty sometimes, Gemini. Let's take one more card to see the outcome. King of Pentacles, the steady hand. This is good. The ace, the new start, is also a pentacle. So this means this comes to fruition. If you do the necessary work, you take some time to rest, look at your options, keep an open mind, listen to people, don't talk over people, chatty Cathy. The new start comes in here. You could be dealing with an earth sign. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. This is the Taurus card. So, Taurus is in your 12th house. This is, karma. This is the subconscious. This is rest. This brings change, big change. This could bring financial stability. This could bring karmic rewards. You have to open the mind. You have to reassess those personal beliefs. Saturn and Jupiter are going to make that, they're going to be hitting that house, that 9th house of higher education, spirituality, long distance travel, foreign people, foreign land, all throughout 2021. This is a theme that's going to ring out for you, but you got to break the chains that bind you. Got to keep an open mind. Take the rest, make your decision, heal yourself, rebalance your cups, and you start anew. This is a very nice reading, Gemini. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. Click the like button. If you'd like a personal reading, my email's in the description box below. We're going to talk about 2021 for each sign, so take a look for that. Until next time, enjoy the holidays and take care, Gemini.